Hey, what's going on, YouTube family and friends? This is Bear Brown. Thanks for coming to my garden channel today, where I'm here helping you grow something tasty. In today's video, we're going to talk about what are some corn growing mistakes. Last year, if you was watching, my corn didn't grow. I made a few mistakes, but I'm gonna go over that right now to correct that issue. And if you're having trouble growing corn, watch this video from beginning to end, and then you're gonna be on the right path to growing corn. So let's go. All right, mistake number one with the soil prep. You want to make sure that you have enough nitrogen in your soil so that the corn plants can grow and be healthy and strong, because this right here is a grass. And what does grass need? Grass needs a lot of nitrogen. So when you're getting your prep in for next season, or if you have time this season, wherever you're located at, make sure you get that nitrogen in to get these plants on its way. All right, mistake number two, weak germination. All right, now you know that those seeds are real hard, and so we need to make sure that we keep the seeds moist. So make sure you keep it moist so that most of your seeds will come up. All right, mistake number three. Now this mistake is with spacing. You want to make sure that you have the correct amount of spacing, because this is a wind pollinated, and if you don't have enough plants in that area, then when the wind blows, it's not going, the pollen is not going to reach the silks. So you want to make sure that you have proper spacing. And let's check out my spacing so you can see. All right, now in my raised beds, I like to have my plants like anywhere from 4 to 6 inches apart. All right, so that's pretty good. But if you look, this is like an inch apart. All right, and I have some more. That one is right here, and it's real close, maybe 1.5 inches apart, and these are real close together. Then I got a big space, 4 to 6, and that goes back to mistake number two, the weak germination. So I was going to have all of them come up, and then I was going to thin them, but once I saw that all of them didn't come up the way I wanted them to, I just left it alone. So the weak germination caused me to make the decision not to thin these out. So next time I will make sure my germination is a lot better, so I won't have that issue. All right, mistake number four. Now, this was the biggest one for me. This is the one that messed me up. Now, mistake number four is not keeping my plants watered. All right, so I started out doing a good job coming out here hand watering myself, and I was on it. This was so green, I was like, all right, this is gonna work. And then once it started getting hot, and then I was like, all right, I looked out the window and said, hey, they're still green, maybe it might rain. And so I didn't come out and water. And so by doing that mistake, not watering, then I looked out one day and I said, oh man, it's starting to get brown. All right, so it was dark green. If you seen in my last video, I mean, I was on it, but I slacked off because of the heat. So what I'm gonna do next year, and I've done this before, I'm gonna put a soaker hose all through this bed, and then when it's hot, I'm just gonna come out early in the morning, turn the faucet on, and then it's gonna stay moist, it's gonna stay green, and I'm gonna have corn. So that was my biggest mistake, and I was like, man, I messed that up. All right, so if you are in the same situation, if you don't think you're gonna come out and water every day, you might want to get some type of drip irrigation, or you want to get a soaker hose. I find that the soaker hose is the easiest. I've done this in the past, and my corn has grown real tall, stayed green, and I've gotten lots of corn, but I just didn't do it this time. All right, the next thing, mistake number five, and I didn't make this mistake, and you can see that in my other video. You got to make sure that you feed your corn plants heavily. All right, so I talked about it's a heavy feeder of nitrogen, so you want to make sure that you get your nitrogen in. And I used fish fertilizer, and I also actually buried some fish down here, and then in the middle I made a furrow in the middle of each row, and then I put down nitrogen blood meal. And so after I finished the blood meal and I covered it back up, I put compost on top of it. So I hit it with 3 different things, and then I put the liquid fertilizer. So make sure it gets all the nutrition possible, and by doing that, you're gonna have some strong plants. All right, the next thing, you want to make sure that your plants are not being bent over, because if they're bent over, then when the wind blows, the pollen is not going to hit the tassels. So you want to make sure that you have these staked up. I didn't have an issue with that. I got the stakes in, my corn is standing, and we had a lot of wind, and you see that the corn plants are still upright. So if they're not upright, that is going to be a major issue for you. Mistake number 7 is when to pull your corn. All right, so I do have one corn. I don't know how good it is, but we're gonna go ahead and see. I heard something crawling in there, so I had to get ready to protect myself. All right, so let's go look and see this next step. All right, so if you look, this is a piece of corn right here. The tassel is already dark and it's all dried out. So all I'm gonna do is pull down and then pull up, and we're gonna go look at it. So another mistake that people make, they pull it too early. So let's make sure we don't pull it early. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm not expecting a whole lot since I didn't water that much, but we'll pull it down and let's see what's in here. All right, my corn is still spotty. Can't do nothing with that. All right, but next year's corn, I'm gonna have it all filled up. Now, the ones that didn't have any kernels on, the tassel didn't get pollinated, so that could be still with the wind. So I have to make sure I get my proper spacing, so when the wind blows, then it will pollinate each tassel. And next year I'll show you, if you want to pollinate it yourself, which I've done that before, to fill all these kernels up. I will show you how you knock the pollen in in a newspaper, and then you sprinkle it on the top of the tassels. So that'll be one trick next year that I use, just to make sure I get a full kernel. All right, so what I'm gonna do with these corn plants, I'm gonna pull them out because I got to get this ready for my bed of collard greens. My collard greens are going in this little plot. So once I take all these up, I'm gonna put them on the other side of my yard, and I'm gonna let the sun finish drying them out, and then I'm gonna run it through my chipper. And once I plant my collard greens, then I'm gonna use all this, and I'm gonna use it as mulch, put it back into the soil, because all this is nutrition that I took out. So I'm gonna let it break down, and it's going to feed my collard greens. It's gonna feed my soil for the this season and for the next season coming up. Even though it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, I'm still gonna take this and use it for the good of my garden. All right, so I don't always have success in my garden. I think every gardener has some things that didn't turn out, but it's good for you to learn from it, and I hope you learn from my mistake. And then next year, I'm gonna have corn. When you come back to see, my corn is not gonna look like this, and my actual corn is not gonna look like that. And I'm gonna have good tasting corn like I did last year and the year before. All right, so this is Bear Brown. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.